You notice one of my plants is missing?
Oh, no. What? It died.
It fucking fell off the wall, shattered everywhere, dirt everywhere.
During a session?
No, but
client?
it was in between clients, but I was like standing like right there. I saw it happen. It was so trippy.
It was the
portal had
opened.
I could rescue the plant with my
Oh, that's cute.
nesting bag.
Oh, that's so cute.
Because I had to scoop it up. I'm like,
Chart, drill a couple holes in the bottom, put a tray in it. That way the water can drain out and then it'll live happy life. Happy
no,
life.
it was only unhappy because it was shattered to the floor.
Well, I know, but that's a little container and it'll get
Oh,
over.
it's just a temporary.
Okay.
That's a temporary home.
Right.
That's its like ambulance ride.
All right, you ready?
Reddit.
Yes. Dear Abby Normals,
Welcome to Deeply Disturbing Things.
the podcast.
I'm Macy.
And I'm Naomi.
I'm Sarah. And we are three anxious counselors who like to talk about deeply disturbing things.
We're trying to find the humor in dark places because laughter is the best medicine.
It
It
is.
really is.
I am.
What do you got?
I'm so excited. I went back to printing on paper so I can throw them recklessly around the room and not have to sit on Sarah's lap to see the screen.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to talk about something real gross.
Oh my God, me too, kind of.
And you guys are both really excited about that. I'm going to talk about maggots.
Oh.
Not where you thought I was going. Who did?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, no idea. Okay.
I had a bad experience with maggots sometimes.
Most people, okay, so what was your bad maggot experience?
Just that we had outside of our old house trash that had piled up and it had fallen over before trash day and all these maggots fell out and it was like this mob mentality where they all just started going in the same
I'm gonna
direction.
talk about that. I'm going to talk about
And
that.
I was like, why are they organized? And they're all like going, they were communicating and they all decided to go like this.
How do they move? Do they inchworm?
Yeah, they like,
Yeah, they have no limbs.
but all of them together went in the same.
Well, but no, I
direction.
thought maybe they could roll like
No.
It was, yeah. And then I was like, oh my gosh, they're organized
Mhm.
and creepy and this is not okay. So yeah.
I snuck into, when I was a child, snuck into my dad's cabinet, up into the cabinet as a child, and there was cooking chocolate and I bit into it and apparently it was like 80 years old and there was a maggot in it and I spit it out into the sink.
I found them in like old like top ramen before, like hella old top ramen. And then I remember when I was like 7, like I flipped a dead bird over and there was maggots.
Yeah.
It was interesting to me.
I don't doubt that serial killer.
It was interesting to me. That experience was very profound where they all started going together and I'm like, they are communicating with each other. How is this happening?
I'm not super grossed out by them.
I am pretty gross.
Not like spiders where I'm gonna run screaming and move and
Yeah.
burn the house down and all that.
I'm not that freaked out because I have the leopard geckos and I feed them mealworms.
Oh yeah, mealworms.
So they're similar but different.
Well, I used to
legs.
date someone that would make mealworm cookies.
That's
Spiders were
environmentally and I don't know, disgusting, but yes. Great for the people that do those things. Okay, so first of all, a maggot is a larva of a fly. So what I thought was interesting is a maggot isn't actually the technical term. So what it really is that it's a grub without limbs, or when all the limbs have disappeared, it's a footless larva. Maybe a better approach to it. So it can actually be
footloose. Oh, you said footless.
Footless.
It's different.
It is different. Maybe they became so loose with their feet that fell off.
I don't know.
Kick off your I'm
on a roll. This humor feels up there and the audience is great. Yeah. All right. So it can apply to there's a ton of different flies and things that it could be. Basically, it's not like its own thing. So where do we see them? We see them in rotting food. We see them rotting animals. We see them anywhere else?
Rotting ramen.
Rotting chocolate.
Rotting rice, which is tricky because they might blend in and look like a rice.
Right.
Gotta be careful.
The Lost Boys scene.
Lost Boys scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it noodles or something, and
My friend will not eat rice to this day because of that scene in the movie.
that freaked me out. Yeah, and then all of a sudden he looks.
Those are insults. Maggot.
Yeah, you maggot.
Grubs,
Like
grubs. Like it's kind of like the lowest of the low, like minions,
yeah,
noobs, pawns.
you legless fool. That's maybe what maggot would mean if you'd said it out loud instead. You legless fool. If you ever feel like saying maggot to someone, say that instead and see how you feel. So first of all, a
I used to
maggot,
think Legolas was really hot. in Lord of the Rings.
Legolas.
Oh right.
He
Then I
was.
got over it. But when it first came out, I was
Oh, yeah.
all in.
I was like, oh.
Yeah,
No, I was so. It was the hair, the long hair, and the archery skills.
I think it's similar to Leonardo
So hot.
DiCaprio and Titanic, similar infatuation for me. It's
I
like,
was in love with him. And that
Never
tell me
been
how much
into
you
Leo.
love me, Leo.
Oh, so interesting.
Right. Okay, so here we go. They're used in fishing. I'm not going to talk about that any more than that. So that right there.
Okay.
Okay. Second thing. These next two things are the most interesting things. That's where I'll spend my time. First thing is medical treatment.
Oh, what do they do?
I know. I had no idea, and I was so excited. And this is how this topic started for me: was what's gross? Maggots are gross, and then I learned more.
Okay.
So, the reported use of maggots goes all the way back to Native American Maya and Aboriginal tribes in Australia. So they've been used for a long time. It's also been reported in Renaissance times. Military physicians also observed that soldiers whose wounds had become colonized with maggots experienced significantly less morbidity and mortality than soldiers whose wounds had not been
because they eat all
colonized.
the infection out.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. Well, not all the infection, but yes, they do a thing. So, it's a certain species of flies that help with what they call debridement. Debridement. It's the first time I've ever said the word out loud.
It's like when
Debridement.
like I've heard about that with
To, like, move
toenails,
away.
where you file them down.
Right.
Away.
So this is what was so interesting. So the doctors will introduce live maggots into non-healed skin or non-healing skin or soft wounds of a human or an animal. There's only one maggot that's cleared for marketing in the US of a larva of calophorid flies. They feed on the dead necrotic tissue, leaving the sound tissue largely unharmed. So basically they go in and they kill the bacteria around it, certain types of bacteria.
Eat it. Right.
Yeah, by eating it. And during the passage through the intestines of the maggot, so they eat it and it comes out the intestines, the ability of the bacteria to survive decreases. So it creates an antibacterial action. So it takes in the bacteria and
poops it out,
and then that bacteria doesn't live after that. Our topics are
so linked.
This is great. So as of 2008,
listen to find out more.
Trois. Is trois French for three? Two?
Yeah,
is it two?
Trois.
Wow.
Oh no,
Three.
three. Sorry.
Deux, two.
Yeah, that's silly because I don't know French and I got it right.
Trois.
I know 10.
So in 2008, they found that maggot therapy was being used in around 1,000 medical centers in Europe, over 300 medical centers in the United States. It's also known as larval therapy. Yeah.
I dig it.
Most people,
it's a symbiotic thing.
Don't actually turn it down. Like it sounds gross, but
both entities benefit.
Right. So some things that it can heal, it can improve healing in chronic ulcers, diabetic foot ulcers.
Wait, you have to eat them then, right? To get at the ulcer?
I don't know how that works, honestly, for
so
those
that's a little trickier. Like here, open wide.
So I actually found a whole article.
Stomach acid, kill it before it could do.
I think, maybe they can get to it externally of the stomach.
What do you mean? How do you get at your stomach externally?
Right here.
Well, how do they eat the ulcer though, unless they're inside at the ulcer?
I don't know.
But if you swallow it,
it goes in the tummy.
I don't think it would last.
We need to find out more. I need a
Yeah.
graph.
I didn't print the 48 pages of, there was actual like medical how-to, like all the way down to like,
In case we need to
pick
do
this type of
someday.
larva, put your gloves on, like all the way a how-to for like all of these things. So it's out there on the internet. If you
I
need to
plan on
know.
being like a super unlicensed doctor in the apocalypse and providing these kind of treatments.
Larva.
I have a lot of very interesting.
You're gonna have
survival
like
plans.
counseling, larval therapy. You'll have a little wood sign out
I'll
front.
just have a little tank where they live,
Mhm.
and you know, whatever ails the person, I'll be like, let's do some magnet therapy.
Right.
Let's start there. This is frontline treatment for basically everything.
Diabetic foot ulcers.
Yeah.
Anxiety. Here you go. 3 maggots.
OCD.
3 maggots a day. For those who do, it'd be 3 maggots a day, the exact same size,
3 times.
lined up.
Yeah.
I don't know how to bridge that. Okay, so in 2004, the U.S. Food FDA actually cleared maggots from common green bottle fly for use in a medical device. So these can be things for non-healing necrotic skin and soft tissue wounds, pressure ulcers, venous status ulcers, neuropathic foot ulcers, and non-healing traumatic or post-surgical wounds. So the FDA has approved this.
Message.
So some limitations. So not all wound types benefit. So it needs to be moist. You're welcome. Exudating wound.
What does that mean? Weeping?
Stuff is coming out of it, I think.
Pussy.
With sufficient oxygen supply, that's like the prerequisite. Not all wound types do this. So if the wound is dry or the cavity doesn't provide oxygen, so it has to be from the outside somehow.
They don't have to cut you
They have to
open
have
and put it
oxygen.
in.
Right. Which they cut people open all the time for other things. So.
Man, I feel like if you're already cut open, just cut that ulcer out and throw it on the ground.
Or maybe they can't. Maybe they can and they just want to put maggots in there instead.
I don't really know how ulcer treatment works, obviously.
Okay, but like to be fair,
I don't know if it's a thing you cut out.
Not all ulcers are treated with maggots. So there's like specialty clinics that do this. It's an older form of treatment that is used in certain situations. I don't think that's like the step one for most people going to the hospital with an ulcer. Just a guess. So it may be possible, I found out, to make a dry wound suitable for larval therapy by moistening it with saline soaks. So like
moisten it up.
Moisten it. Okay, so some of the things that they do, they debridement. So this is where the areas, so this was fascinating to me. So part of what they do is they eat that area around the top that's dead skin and help open it so it can heal without causing more wound area. Like it doesn't damage the healthy area. So it helps open it up so it can heal. And they secrete a broad spectrum of proteolytic enzymes that help liquefy that neurotic tissue and absorb the semi-liquid result within a few days. So it's like over a few day process.
What about frostbite?
Ooh, that's dead flesh.
They tried.
As long as it's moist.
Put that saline.
Ooh, I bet you
toes.
gangrene. That's a moist environment.
Mm-hmm.
In an optimum wound environment, maggots molt twice, increasing in length from 2 millimeters to about 10 millimeters in girth. So they get big within 48 to 72 hours of ingesting the necrotic tissue, leaving a clean, wound-free of necrotic tissue when they are removed.
Like
and that's all that
ticks.
bacteria.
You guys
Skin.
seen ticks?
Happy,
Yeah,
happy
they-
maggot.
Right.
Swollen.
So
With
this
flesh.
opens for healing. It disinfects the wound. It also stimulates
Oh.
the body's natural response for healing. And it creates a biofilm. It gets rid of those negative, what am I thinking of? And
Antibodies?
no, the other word. What's the bad word? Bacteria. There you go. Gets rid of those bad bacteria.
Honestly, it seems like a win-win for everybody.
Right. No, it is.
What's the bad? What's the downside?
I mean,
It's maggots. Is that the only downside? People are creeped out.
Yeah, I mean, they said that like the results from most studies were comparable to other treatment options. For what it does, you know, if they were to give a medicinal option to do those same things, the outcome is pretty similar. So there really isn't a bad thing about using them, other than there's limitations to what wound type you can use it on. Okay, so I thought that was pretty cool. Second thing that's pretty cool is forensic science.
Oh,
This is kind of what you were talking about. So the presence and development of maggots on a corpse helps estimate a time elapsed since death. So they actually use this in finding out the PMI, the post-mortem interval, how long someone's been dead.
How big it gets.
So depending on the species and conditions, they may be observed on a body within 24 hours. The eggs are laid directly on the food source, and when the eggs hatch, the maggots move towards their preferred conditions and begin to feed. By studying the insects present at a crime scene, forensic entomologists can determine the approximate time of death. Insects are usually useful in this between 25 to 80 hours after. And they can tell when that interval hits because it becomes less reliable, but they can see every type of life cycle, so they can see how long it's been there. So minutes after death, blowflies arrive to lay eggs or live young.
But how do they know?
Smell?
Is there some kind of like alert system that
It
goes?
is,
How is this communicated?
It's there.
There's no blowflies in this room. If we all killed over dead, how will they know we've died? How did they get in here? I have so many questions.
Smells. What about fruit flies? Those freak me out.
Oh, I was reading about those.
How did they just appear?
Just all
No.
like,
So
where do they come from?
what I was reading was like their life cycle so fast that like they will hatch and lay eggs in a matter of like days. So if you have like even a garbage bin that you don't take out for a day, it can happen and they'll all of a sudden be there, and it seems like, where did they all come from? Well, they all probably hatched within the last like 24 hours.
I always blame bananas.
Bananas.
Bananas are my scapegoat, my scape fruit.
So, okay, back to dead flesh. Waves of insect activity assist and accelerate in the decomposition process, depending on the state of decomposition of the corpse, geographical area. So necrophagous insects are followed by insect predators and opportunistic species, some of them carnivores, but all of them have their own predictable lifespans. It's those lifespans that allow them to figure out how long they've been exposed for. So even if they go beyond the lifespan of the maggot or fly, then they'll see the predators that come to eat them and their life cycles.
God, nature is so freaking smart that there are certain animals that only eat dead animals.
Right.
Like that's taking care of a whole like part of the food chain.
Well, and it's like
that wouldn't be taken care of otherwise.
And it's looking for that
so smart
specific type of dead cells, which
it's needed.
And
it's filling a niche.
Because if there was a healthy person laying there with a clean wound, they wouldn't go and eat that until there's like the dead cells present.
Or if they're just a healthy person running through the savannah, like a tiger's gonna eat them. Like that's their job.
Right.
Everybody has a lane. We're not stepping on toes here. I like clear role definition.
Right. I heard somewhere that flies, like they'll see poop as like chocolate cake. Because when you see like flies on poop and you're like, oh, that's so disgusting.
They're like chocolate.
They're like,
it's like chocolate cake.
Like, look what we found. It's a freshie.
And I think
that's like when my dog's head is in my cat litter box. And I'm like, no.
Oh, that's almond roca, 100%.
I'm like, oh, who helped clean up the cat poop that fell outside of the box? Nope. Boo.
Ew, and then he wants to lick your face.
He doesn't lick my face. We set that boundary a long time ago.
But he wants to.
No, he doesn't. He's an old man. What were you gonna say? Sorry, I cut you off.
There was like a motivation in that of how, different perspectives of people animals, like the whole chain of things. It's just so different.
Mhm.
Where you think one person's like looking at it, ew, that's so disgusting, but this fly sees this lovely chocolate cake. So,
Yeah. I mean, we can apply that to like,
each their own.
yeah. And like to people, like some people look down on people doing certain jobs. If they
Right.
weren't doing that, who would do it? Like the
Mhm.
garbage collectors, for example.
Yeah.
My stepdad was a garbage.
If garbage collectors aren't garbage collecting,
And they find,
everything falls apart.
and they find
Yeah.
cool stuff. They do.
Yeah,
They
I'm
pay
sure.
pretty well, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Mhm.
And you get to ride on the outside of the truck, which seems super exciting. That would be my job.
I would do it for a day.
Yeah.
So they collect both maggots from and around the body. They get the remnants of their development, so the hard casings called the pupa, that allow them to infer the sequence of events upon arrival. It also lets them know the time, so like time of year that this happens will impact what species are there, et cetera, et cetera. So like there's people who know way more than me about this. Believe it or not.
They dedicate their lives to the
this.
maggot
Right.
study.
Mhm. So they said that they can even tell like if a body's been moved, because if there's a species on it that isn't from that location and it's in a different location, or even attempts to like hide something. Like, so if somebody tried to hide what they did somehow, like if it was an original wound and then they tried to make it look like a different type of wound, I don't know what might be, like tried to make it look like an accident and they
Mhm.
I don't know, something like
I
that.
can tell it was later.
A defense
Yeah,
or-
exactly. And they can also tell health conditions of a victim because again, they go for certain, it's like that perfect chocolate cake that they want. And if that chocolate cake has certain conditions that make that cake taste like, I don't know, the people that make them out of vegetables, those cakes.
gluten free.
Are you talking about carrot cake?
No, I
Oh,
love
carrot
carrot cake. That's different.
I love
No, I'm
carrot
talking like where it's like, that has no flavor and was made out of squash, probably.
Oh, like
Those
when
things?
I tried to fool my kids with cauliflower mashed potatoes.
I like cauliflower.
They knew something was
Sweet potato.
amiss.
Instead of real fried.
I got those. I had a hand me down. Someone was like, "Here, you can have these," and they were cauliflower like straws that were like chips. Have you seen those? Like the
Veggies.
and they
straws.
tasted horrible. They were really bad,
I
really
love me
bad.
some cauliflower puffs.
I'd rather
though.
just
I'll
chew
tell
on
you
some
what.
cauliflower. That's what I'm talking about. What do you mean puffs?
Puffs. I like puffs of all kinds. I like a puffed pea, a
You
puffed
like
corn,
Cocoa Puff.
a puffed cauliflower.
Cocoa Puff.
I don't really eat cereal that much.
That's good. It's too sugary.
Yeah.
What about rice cakes? They're kind of puffy.
They're not, there's no nutrients. I need the nutrients.
It's just like
It's just
styrofoam.
filler.
Yeah.
Oh.
So puffs with nutrition.
But I like the puffs. You know what I really like? My favorite right now, my favorite puff. My puff of the moment
Puff of
Favorite.
is
puff of
the
day.
I think it's the Hippies brand, the Sriracha puffs. Ooh, yeah, they're spicy.
Ooh, yeah.
And
I've never had
minions
them before.
are on the bag.
Are these Trader Joe items?
Winkedinkly. No, this is mainstream commercial. Yeah.
My new favorite is sriracha pistachios, but they're very
Are they puffed?
expensive. No, they're just pistachios.
Yeah, I would eat a
I
puff
was sitting here like, how are they
pistachio any
eating
day.
this?
How do they puff things?
pistachio?
I know they puff everything. It's
Is it like how they
amazing.
freeze dried dogs?
It's probably like that. They just put in a thing, goes poof,
Right.
and then they put
Right.
them in a bag, and I snack on them.
Do you like cheese puffs though? Even though they're not good for you.
I like cheese.
I don't like cheese puffs, but they're so bad for you. But I will keep
Oh.
eating cheese puffs because of that.
What's like the
Puffs
essence
and
of the puff? Is
sensation.
it a
Air.
puff
Okay.
cheese?
Maybe it's the oil that makes it pop like popcorn, and so it puts air in it.
Like what is being puffed?
I don't know. My aunt I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. She had
New
those
topic.
those pinwheel pasta shells. Pinwheel, like they look like wheels.
Wagon wheels.
Wagon wheels, thank you. So she would say, go take these, and we'd put them in the microwave and they puff up and they just create a puff when you
Oh,
microwave
see?
them.
That's fun.
Everything's better
Fascinating.
in a puff.
Fascinating. I need to do that. I haven't thought about that since childhood.
I love a puff.
See, this podcast brings up stuff.
We used to
Brings it up.
bake styrofoam, and I'm 100% sure that's why I'm in a die young.
You're gonna eat styrofoam by accident?
No, we used to do it as an art project when I was a kid in like the 70s. Like, you know, the meat trays, the styrofoam meat trays?
Yeah.
We'd color pictures, cut them out, and bake them in the oven, and they'd turn into like a little hard, like you can make a jewelry out of it or a hanging.
Oh, I know what you're talking
But
about.
I don't think you're supposed to bake styrofoam in your home oven.
No,
With all those chemicals.
those easy bake ovens, probably a whole nother topic, aren't
No,
safe
this is my
to eat.
regular home
from.
oven.
Oh,
This is an art project that was fully sanctioned by
that's dangerous.
my mom. I mean, they were real neat, but when I start to leave the house without pants, that's why.
I mean, again, or
Again,
can
unintentionally.
you just give us a reference in a text message chain we had going on about that you would get out of the car running from the swarm of birds naked? We were like, why naked?
I just feel like that's the essence of a true panic.
Just
I know.
like
Yeah, I gotta just be free.
I want more clothes on because I know
I don't want
I don't want I was like, they're gonna go for the tender spots.
Check your soft parts.
Protect your soft parts. Check out that episode. It's real. Okay, last bit and then it's yours. Okay, so maggots can also help decompose bodies, which is a good thing too. We talked a while ago about burial, and so they can help decompose a corpse. Flies may begin to lay eggs on a body even in the periods preceding death, so even before someone's dead, depending on the conditions. Egg deposits can often be seen in the nostrils, the angles of the mouth, eyes, so like all the soft parts.
That's what creeps you out, I think. That biological like creep out about maggots, because you know that like if they're on you,
they want to be in you, but
they're gonna.
But maybe this helps.
Oh, that you're dying.
It's
like vultures circling. You don't
like,
want to see that.
Yeah, it's like this.
They can sense a sixth, then they know something.
Psychological sign of danger.
Away from me,
like
that means I'm healthy.
Yes. Oh, that's so true.
Or if a cancer dog starts barking around you,
right.
You're like, get the fuck. I would punt that dog across the room.
Do you want me to delete that part out later?
Don't be sniffing around my moles.
Back up off. So egg deposit
only consensual.
Those
cancer dog sniffing.
Oh, I thought you said consensual dog kicking. I doubt that's consented upon. So the eggs that are deposited turn into the maggots, then the pupa, followed by empty pupal shells, and then they turn into flies from there. That development cycle lasts between 3 and 5 weeks, depending on species and temperatures. Maggots produce enzymes which break down proteins and feed on disintegrated soft tissues. In summer, it's possible for maggots to reduce an above ground cadaver for take it down to nearly skeleton within a few weeks. Wow. For the coroner, an additional problem is that eggs are frequently deposited in wounds to the skin while the subject is still alive, resulting in extensive destruction to the wounds with loss of evidence regarding cause of death. So that can be a downside if it's been there for a really long time, because it's hard to know what is the actual originating wound. Right.
So, I've seen those like experimental research cadaver decomposition farms where they like study like what things look at different stages, which helps them establish those times of death.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all ready for this?
I'm so excited.
Are you ready for this?
This has not stopped tasting like a farmyard.
Mine has.
Mine has not.
Tasting like a farmyard.
I forgot about it until you said it, and now I'm like, yeah,
it's like it's on my tongue. I feel like I licked a goat.
There's some links between our topics.
Like goat cheese.
Yeah.
Really?
All right. Don't look.
We're not looking. We're talking about farms. I can't actually see here.
Okay. I'm gonna make my font.
Just don't breathe out
to 90%.
Right. Just hold your breath.
Yeah.
Do y'all like eggs?
I love eggs.
Do you love eggs?
I'm an egg person. Can't wait to hear all the bad things about them. Thank you for ruining my life.
I'm kind of torn. I eat them, but then if I really think about it, I'm like, these are unborn chickens, and that's pretty gross. And then I'm
going to change your perspective on that.
Okay, please do.
I love eggs. Jews love eggs. I have not
I'm a
met
secondary.
a Jew that does not love an egg.
I made egg salad the other, like 2 days ago.
I eat eggs almost every day.
Jewish kids are raised eating hard-boiled snakes. Snakes.
That really threw me for a loop. What Freudian slip was that?
No, what kind of Freudian slip was that?
Jews.
Raised on.
Can you say that whole?
Jews. Jews are raised on being hard-boiled
I feel like
snakes.
this is. Jews are raised on hard snakes. Remember that. I don't think we can post it as a title. I'm so
People are gonna think it's a hate crime. And it's just
sorry.
me being stupid. I mean, for our new listeners, this would be a good time to state I am 100% a Jew. I am like
There you go.
all in Jew.
Disclaimer.
I'm not, but I like to
Freaking Jewish
participate in
pride all the way. That
activities.
was way a slip from who knows where, deep in the subconscious. I'll think about. I'll
Something about
journal
maggots,
later.
Maybe maggots and snakes, because snakes came up in my mind naturally too. Because I was thinking like,
Journal
what
later
are we
and look it
naturally
up.
scared of? Maggots, snakes.
I love snakes though. There's not pet snakes. I don't know. I'll work it out later. I'll like draw a mandala and figure it out or something. Okay.
Okay.
So Jews love hard-boiled eggs.
I think it's the
What I was trying to say.
alliteration of it. Hard-boiled
Eggs and snakes.
eggs.
Snakes
It's
are
like backwards.
eggs on a plane.
There's like none of the same letters.
Okay, I don't know.
And
We
then
tried to help her. She
I
let
don't
them
like-
both
It's
fall.
because
Okay.
eggs,
what it
this
is.
is what I think. It's because eggs are not considered milk or meat. They're considered neutral. And so
Protein,
as a kid,
like maggots.
well, no, because if you're
Oh.
kosher, you don't mix milk and meat as a Jew.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
Okay.
eggs are considered neither
Mm-hmm.
neutral. So you can eat eggs all the time. So growing
awesome.
up, I always had a nice hard-boiled egg snack.
Can I share a personal story really quick?
Yes.
So I used to tutor these kids who were like Orthodox Jewish and from Israel. Their family are amazing, spoke Hebrew first language. And so I hadn't known them very long, and they took me out to Panda Express for just to be nice. Like after the kids got out of school, they're like, let's go eat. And so I ordered the crab rangoons, and the kids are like, oh, like, what is that? What's in there? And I'm like, oh, it's crab and cream cheese. Yeah, like some kind of dairy. And they both looked at me like what are, like, ew, that's disgusting. And I was like, what's the matter? And the mom's like, yeah, we don't mix like shellfish. Well, we don't mix meat and dairy, and then shellfish is also
kosher.
bad. So I I ordered the food that was
And
like
just ate it
the
in front of
most
them.
disgusting thing to them. And the kids were kind of like trying to be polite, but I could see they're like, what's wrong with
Yeah,
this
like
lady?
shrimps and stuff are unkosher.
So that was my.
I don't keep kosher.
Earrings. Look how cute her earrings are.
Oh,
They look
thank
like
you.
little pill bugs.
Little maggots.
Little pill
Yeah,
bugs.
little black
The
nuggets.
little roly polies.
Oh, they do look like roly polies.
Yeah.
Love those. So I love eggs. I don't know if you've tried to buy eggs last week. You couldn't find any in town.
Everything has like 2 limit, please.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I had to go to 3 stores to find eggs
I
because I wanted to make
I want
pancakes.
chickens this spring. If
You're gonna do urban
they make
chickens?
eggs all the time, so then you can have eggs since you like them.
That's a good idea.
I do have a hookup at work.
Yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, that's right. I think I got some.
Those cute little blue eggs.
Super hot
Yeah.
in here really fast, or did I get
I
drunk?
think no,
Did we shut the heater vent?
it's shut, but it is getting hot all of a sudden. I think that manure's kicking in.
So there have been shortages this last week because avian flu is making chickens drop dead.
Oh, I had no idea the why. I would
Yeah,
probably
that's
eat
the
less
why.
eggs if I knew it was from the avian flu.
Well, those are the survivors.
Great.
So
Hardy,
there's,
they're hardy.
there's a lot of important questions about eggs. Are eggs good for you? Is eating eggs ethical?
Yes. That is a
Which
good
came
question.
first?
The chicken
The
or the
chicken or the
motherfucking
egg?
Why'd the chicken
Oh.
cross the road?
Why did the chicken cross the
Because they
road?
had to lay the egg.
All very important questions, which I will not be addressing today.
That's great. I love unanswered questions.
What I will be addressing though, because I'm from the city and I've never
She said,
I'm from the city.
I've never understood eggs.
What?
So the big question that I'll be answering today is a question that I've really wondered about for the last few years is, do eggs come out of a chicken's butt?
I don't.
If you know the answer, don't say. Because we're going to get into it.
Can't wait.
Do you know the answer?
I want to say no to that.
I want to
but-
say yes.
No, don't say the answer.
No,
but
we
do you
don't
know the
know.
answer?
We don't want that to be a no. But
I don't know the answer, and I'm going to say yes.
You
There's
want it to be
always.
yes, and you want it to be no.
I don't want it to be yes. There's always poop on them,
It
but
sounds like you want it to
I'm
be
thinking
yes.
it's probably yes, but I'm hoping it's a no.
What's your opinion?
I think it comes out the butt. I guess it doesn't logically make sense to me, but I think it does because there's always poop on them. That's my sequence.
Okay.
So I have an egg hookup at
Logical.
work,
Mm.
and I remember once in a meeting, I kind of asked that question, and I felt like the answer was very evasive, and that made me want to know more. And so finally, I had the time to dive into this.
Guess what?
I've never asked butt questions and had people be evasive and left me like wanting to know more.
But
Just
but
saying.
guess what? Guess what?
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 Chicken butt.
Oh my God, that's our podcast
And
title.
and we're
Guess what? Chicken
chicken
butt.
butt. And
Write
we're-
it down, somebody, because you know we're gonna forget
That's your
tomorrow.
I
Sarah.
got it.
Okay. No, okay. I have to tell you, too many times I've done exactly that and I forget and
Where
don't
is our
remember.
notebook?
All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Let's talk about how eggs are made. And want you to know that I felt a lot better about my naivete because when I started to Google that, it was autocomplete like that. So I am not the first person to Google the question of, do eggs come
I
out
don't
of a
know.
chicken's butt?
I don't know.
Yeah. The people want to know.
I
And
wanna
we
know.
are here
To
to
know.
educate
The more you
and
know.
enlighten and maybe entertain, question marks on all three of those. So let's talk about how eggs are made. It's a common misconception that a hen can't lay eggs without a rooster around.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
So chickens don't need a rooster around if they're making eggs that are for eating.
It's just not fertilized.
Yes, without a rooster around, the hens will lay only unfertilized eggs.
That's the eggs I want to eat then.
The ones without the little red dot in it.
Yeah.
A hen requires
For you.
roughly 24 hours to produce an egg.
That's not bad. That's like
So
really
it's
fast.
like
You should
one a
market
day.
that.
They should market that.
Yeah.
One a day.
Unfertilized eggs.
Well,
You would get that.
they're
So it's
supposed
like
to be unfertilized ones you get in the store.
They're all supposed to be unfertilized.
They're
So they
supposed to
keep
be.
them roosters out of there. That's-
Well,
Okay.
All right.
Wait here, you'll see.
This makes me feel good.
So
it's
the
like finding out that
process,
there's not maggots.
you know, just starts again. So when they're in their like season or whatever, they'll just continually be doing this 24-hour process. So there are some seasonal things like light really matters and their feed really matters and like their mood really matters.
Can I consult with you when I buy baby chicks?
Well, I am not an urban chicken
No.
farmer. I am not an expert.
You did read one more article than
I
did.
read one more article than you. I know that if you want your chickens to be comfortable and calm.
I do.
I used to have pet chickens.
I buy cage-free eggs. That's like really important to me. I hate
And
the
that's-
idea that
Isn't
they
it
like
a myth? That's a
stick 'em.
myth though, because they like it's like a wording thing. Because I found that on one of the other.
Oh,
topics.
probably.
Like they say
Probably.
cage free, but that like how they define a cage.
It's like a foot by foot.
Right. Like it takes very little to loosen up the definition of what a cage is.
But I think it depends. If you're going with a
Depends.
big giant commercial organization, like one of these
Expect it.
big brand names, it's probably different than if you're getting them
From a local.
like my worker
Right.
at
I
work.
don't like the idea of
My coworker
in-person
where-
chickens.
My coworker at work, like
It's so horrible.
they're in her
I
yard,
hate
you
that.
know, it's different.
Yeah. I mean they're normally like in a spot where they literally can't move. That's caged.
That's what I'm like.
That's
I can't
caged.
handle it.
The uncaged they may have more than one, you know, defined by what the wire, like the type of housing, which does matter, hurts their feet. The wires.
Yeah.
That's like those big commercial operations.
Right.
Yeah. A laying hen's ovary holds thousands of tiny ova, and I saw some pictures of these. It's incredible. They're like on a
It's incredible.
That makes me not want to eat it.
They're all
I'm eating
these little
ovas.
egg yolks, like on this. It kind of reminded me of like a Brussels sprout stalk. It's all these like yolks and all these little sizes.
Because like we're used to as
all these variations
we
of
get
sizes.
one.
We get one, but up in the chicken body,
Up in that chicken.
thousands of these like yolks. Like some are teeny yolks, some are a little bigger because they're all like in this. They're different stages.
Stages and ages.
When a yolk is ready, so when the yolk gets big enough, it leaves its station there.
It's ready for life.
And it goes into like there's this like system of tubes that it goes out. It's called an oviduct.
Ooh, I want an oviduct. That sounds...
I think you have one. It's a tube-like structure that's divided into different sections. So
my fallopian tubes, is there oviduct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Over the course of 4 hours, it moves.
I'm trying to drop
it moves through an area to the special area called the magnum.
I want a magnum too. Are these my ovaries?
No, this is the place where the egg white protein is added to the yolk. So it starts off as just this yolk.
Why do I not have an egg white protein?
Well, because we live birth, we don't lay eggs.
Why don't we just lay an egg and like call it good for a while, and then
some animals lay eggs, some do live births.
Oh, look at your child. Oh, it's egging over there. I'm
just sitting on it.
And then you can let other people sit on it. You can have a life.
Wait,
You'd be like penguins.
Can I
have the men just sit?
The daddy.
Somehow, I need to make this request now so I don't forget. We have to do a photo of all of us like this, and I will photo edit it where we're all sitting on eggs. You don't like them? I like them a lot. All the best ideas. That's what everyone can veto. If you veto, it's done. Sorry, Sarah.
I had a visual. I was like, I want mine to be pink.
She already knows what color. Why do you get a color?
Like I was thinking Easter.
Why don't you two do that?
And you're like,
and I'll be standing off the side being the cock. Rooster people, come on.
Strutting her stuff.
All right.
Cockle doodle doing. You're leaning too far that way.
Where am I? Magnum.
Magnum.
There are all these different proteins that make up this egg white. And you can buy just egg whites like in a little carton.
I buy the carton when
people think it's healthier or whatnot.
I
think it's tasteless. Yeah.
Same.
And so these
I like the living fluid.
Provide protection for the oak and also help with the formation of the shell membrane and the shell. So if you're peeling a hard-boiled egg, like there's that membrane under the egg.
Right. That's what I just did with
little skin
egg salad.
Yeah.
Some of them, like you just screw it up and then it just starts.
Well, do you know the trick?
No, I did. One time I did it. It was really good, but I forgot. Do you like flash it in ice?
Well, I boil mine with salt in the water.
Okay.
And then, then you throw them in cold.
I did it, but
and then
I didn't put salt.
I like it when the shell just peels right off. It's so satisfying.
It's like, you might not have cooked them long enough.
I think that's what it was.
You have to cook them for 7 minutes exactly, and do not boil them.
Yeah, so it has to be under boil.
That's
because I like a little juicy in my yolk, slightly in the
just
middle.
A little. That's like perfect.
I don't want my yolks to be like all the way solid or gray.
Right. When I make ramen, you want to cut into it and just have a little bit in the middle.
Sauce. It's the sauce.
The sauce that counts.
Mm-hmm. The sauce counts.
Mm-hmm.
So then the egg moves
maybe 10 minutes if you're doing hard boiled egg. Like if you're
moves through this other place.
Mine was boiling.
Sorry. Go ahead.
We're talking about eggshell formation.
We're here.
This is important.
I
And
know, I'm so sorry.
and so that first part was 4 hours. Now this is the long part of the process. This is the 20-hour part. This is where the shell is forming.
Oh God, yeah, because this is all happening within a day. That's
Isn't
what's
that
crazy to me.
It's crazy,
It's crazy to me.
beans.
I barely do anything in a day.
And this is like
With my
making
body.
These
a
chickens are
shell.
so hormonal. And
That's why
Pissed off.
they
Just
do get
such a
pissy.
shell.
Don't they get pissy a lot?
I've never known a
Chickens?
chicken.
I had a bunch. Yeah.
yeah, no wonder they're just like
During the last 2 hours, this is where the shell pigment is formed. And, eggs can be brown, white,
to try to
blue, green.
camouflage them in the environment.
They're like different. Well, they say the color comes from the kind of chicken. And that brown ones come from red-headed chickens.
oh.
I mean, I like that you laughed at that.
Well, because I
thought
did
about
the
it
red.
and you
I
didn't.
just did the redheaded topic. Yeah.
Which you could see, like, prior, like, if people didn't overbreed chickens, it would be where the type of chicken, where they're from, would have certain color to help hide in the habitat.
It's like different kinds.
Yeah.
But people think, hippy dippy people, which I am one. I'm not like dissing other people. I'm a city dippy.
I'm city dippy.
But there's
I'm
city
not a city
dippy
dippy.
misunderstanding that brown eggs are like healthier than white eggs, and there's like no difference. It's just the kind of chicken.
People think they're healthier?
Yeah. People think they're
Legit?
healthy. Legit.
The eggs I
But
buy
why?
that say cage free are brown, and I wasn't like just thinking because they're brown they're healthier, but because the way that it was marketed.
The box.
Because
No. Marketing is a huge
I know.
thing.
That's what I think people think.
They take advantage of.
Because I used to think this, so I'm just
City
assuming
Yeah.
other city dippies think this.
Yeah.
I think people are thinking white eggs are bleached.
They look not as natural.
Yes, they're unnatural.
And then, and they make the boxes. So often the white eggs come in like a styrofoam, like, and you're like, ooh,
no, I want the naturally fibrous carton.
That carton that's clearly made of recycled materials, which is probably not.
And the ink is made by like berry juice.
Hilarious.
Same.
Been to farms where like chickens are roaming free, and I'm like, that's what I want my chickens to be.
But if you saw them roaming free, they are roaming free. So that's real.
Did you buy those eggs?
Should it be like called roaming free chicken?
No, okay, no. The thing is I did a topic that hit on that a bit. And if you're buying them at the grocery store, odds are that you're buying from a larger conglomerate and they're taking advantage of the verbiage and they're targeting you with marketing.
I'm not surprised.
I'm a sucker. If there's like a beautiful label with some teal involved, I'm in.
Ooh,
I'm like, this is my new favorite thing.
Usually it's like the orange across the top, and you're like, that's a color.
Can you hook me up with your egg person?
Yes.
I want natural eggs.
It's a good price. It's only
they're all
$3.50 for 18. It's good. And they're beautiful. They're like blues and greens. And they're delicious.
Yeah.
$3.50. Good. I mean, maybe the price will go up now.
Right. Whenever my mom visits me, they bring me a big thing of eggs. And did you know, do you have in here about how they can be stored? Because I don't want to give it away for you.
No, but you don't, if they've never been refrigerated, you don't have to refrigerate them.
Right.
So I just keep them out.
The first time I was like, what do you mean they're just sitting here for days? Oh, like
it's natural.
Yeah, it is natural. So once they're refrigerated though, then you have to keep refrigerating them.
So during this whole egg process, it's moving through, like once it has its shell, you know how like one end of the egg is big and one end is more narrow? So it's going through narrow end first. But interestingly, just before laying the egg, it flips and the large end comes out first. And the thoughts are
it doesn't even give them like a little leeway.
Like this helps it from
they're just like
cracking though, like it's a safety thing. Like if it's their baby in there.
Because it's initial pressure, but then it relieves.
Well, no, because there's more support.
No.
Like if their chicken baby is in there,
Oh.
it's more of a solid landing, and also there's an air bubble on that end to help cushion the chicken
Because
baby.
you see the little air bubble on the top
Yeah,
of
so
the
this is
egg.
all so nature is so smart.
Okay, I still need to know if it comes out of a butthole or not.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Oh my
It
God.
depends, like how I view all of this.
We will get there.
Do they have a special sacking system?
So, you may have occasionally found blood in an egg and worried about that. So there's a myth that that means it was a fertilized egg and that like that's a dead chicken baby, but that's not true. A hen's ovaries are full of these blood vessels, and occasionally one will break during the egg laying process, and then a drop of blood will be on the inside of it. So totally safe to eat, though it might gross people out.
But people eat bloody things all day. People eat a steak, no problem. So if that egg had a little bit of chicken blood in it, like really?
Double yolks. When I went
I'm
to
on a off meat eating.
you're off eggs.
No, off meat.
Oh, okay.
I've been on and off meat my whole life, so bloody steaks have always grossed me out.
Yeah, I don't eat them either.
But I don't judge people that love them.
You're doing a lot of hand motions and talking about meat. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've been on and off the meat.
I'm off.
I've occasionally cracked an egg.
Don't do that motion by your face. We're recording, Sarah. She's new.
Let's talk about double yolks.
Ooh, those are like a magic genie.
I've occasionally cracked eggs and there's a double yolk inside. When I went to Oregon for Thanksgiving, I bought some eggs.
Is that where this came from?
Clearly. It says Oregon down the can. I got some eggs, and every single egg in the entire carton was a double yolk.
No way.
So I got 24 egg yolks out of a dozen.
It
was weird. Like every time I cracked it, I'm like, another double yolk.
You should have double rainbow.
Right,
It was like that. Yes. It was crazy.
Wow.
That would have went viral.
It was amazing.
Double egg. Double egg yolk. You get an egg yolk.
A double egg
Twice
yolk
the protein.
occurs when a chicken releases two yolks into the same shell and are usually produced by young chickens whose reproductive systems have not fully matured.
They just don't know.
But they can also come from older chickens nearing the end of their egg producing period. And that reminded me of humans. Like the older you are, the more likely you are to have like multiples. Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah, because your eggs are all decrepit and
They're like, pump them out, hurry.
falling apart.
Yeah, everyone's done.
It's either I don't know or I'm confused.
So fertilized eggs, we talked about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Most commercial eggs are not going to be fertilized. So people think like you're going to crack open an egg and there's going to be a dead chicken fetus in there,
I've never
or
seen that.
that you can incubate an egg and you'll grow a chick. And that is not going to happen in most cases. However, in my research, I learned that
I love research.
rarely a male chick in the group won't be detected. So something commercial egg companies don't want people to know is they kill all the male chicks that are born because they don't want them in
That
the
makes
group.
sense. Yeah.
But
That's
occasionally one will slip through.
Peanut gets angry. Chicken about that. Yeah.
One will slip through, and then some eggs will end up being fertilized. You can spot a fertilized egg by looking at the yolk.
Right? Can you do it through the egg? Someone taught me that once. I don't remember how to do it, but I remember something.
But if you look at the yolk when it comes out, in place of a usual small white spot, you'll see a ring. So there'll be a ring. So that's like the beginnings of life. And people have said they've cracked open commercial eggs and found dead chicken fetuses inside. I don't know how legit that is.
I feel like they get screened somehow. There's some cute quality.
I
insurance
mean,
people.
It's in a shell.
Maybe once in a million.
I used to be obsessed with Cadbury eggs.
Those aren't laid by chickens, just
no, but they're really delicious. Okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about the ethics of eating eggs, but I'm going to briefly touch on ethics because I ran across this one Question.
So you're gonna kind of talk about it.
I'm gonna talk about it a little bit.
Touch on it.
Do chickens feel pain when laying eggs? So I thought this was really an interesting question.
Probably.
Yes.
Ancient Romans used to call the crying of chickens, the crying and sobbing of chickens while they laid eggs, the egg song. So apparently chickens can cry and sob.
Like
I'm
people
sure.
giving
While
birth.
laying
I would
eggs.
cry if I had to lay an egg.
That's why I can't stand the idea.
Imagine laying
cage.
your giant pink egg right now. Think about it. That would
And
suck.
you're stuck in a cage, and they just keep making you.
And it's
pump them
coming out
That's torture.
wide side first.
No.
Hold on.
That's awful.
It's just
That's
not
animal torture.
aerodynamic at all.
It's not. I mean,
It's not.
actually it is because you put the big end on the top and then the windswept end on the end. So the wind.
There's no wind. There's no wind up in there.
I mean,
In
coming
the
out.
oviduct. No, it is very tight quarters. There is no wind. Did you not listen to the husband stitch topic? There's no wind. There's no wind tunnel going on. Many chickens don't appear to be in pain while laying eggs, according to researchers. However, some chickens,
Are
particularly
these researchers male?
no, this is a female researcher.
No.
However, some chickens,
Sympathizer.
particularly young chickens and those laying very large eggs,
Mhm.
do show signs of pain. And these signs include wheezing, gasping, and occasional minor bleeding.
Well, that makes sense. Like there's some human women who versus chicken women who have easy births where it's like, oh, I barely felt it. And then some that are like, that was excruciatingly painful. Maybe it's a spectrum of chicken birth.
True. Good point.
The question about the ethics of purchasing extra large or jumbo eggs has come up.
Oh, good point. Because people use them for cooking and they often call for a large egg.
And some in animal welfare have warned about purchasing jumbo eggs. And some in animal welfare have stated, I will never buy
Just get an ostrich
a
egg.
jumbo egg.
Have you seen ostrich eggs?
They're huge.
But they also might have a bigger.
Myers, though.
They're bigger though, to be fair.
They have a
They're
bigger something, which I'll get to in a minute.
Who's ha?
Another.
Just not.
So this was fascinating to me because this is something
She's withholding and she knows it.
I had never ever thought about or knew about. This is so incredibly fascinating. Another compounding factor in determining whether laying eggs is painful or not is the stoic nature of chickens. Chickens are prey animals, and prey animals hide their pain. So that means just because they don't appear to be in pain while laying doesn't make it necessarily so. Wow. And I completely related that to human trauma.
Me too. Right when you said that, I was thinking
like I'm a person of trauma, and I will, like, if I ask for help and I'm in pain, it has gotten to that fucking point. Like, I will hide it all. I'll be bleeding, hiding it behind my back.
Have you seen the study where, I forget the name of it, but it's an attachment study where they'll have like the child in the room and then the parent will leave and come back. And when it's a healthy attachment, the parent leaves and the child shows like outward signs of stress.
Yeah.
But when there's like a anxious attachment or an avoidant disorganized, the parent will leave and the child will like appear neutral, but as they're like monitoring heart rate and everything, they're
going way up.
Just as stressed on the inside.
No, that's me 100%. People are always like, you're such a rock, like you seem totally calm.
Okay, so all of us are rabbits.
On the inside, I'm dying.
If you're interested in what a rabbit means, become our patron. It's only $1. And
rabbits are commonly prey.
Rabbits are commonly prey, and we all have spiked heart rates.
All right.
All the time.
The moment we've been waiting for. 2 eggs come out of a chicken's butt.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. However, there's only one
butthole
exit.
Oh. Well,
which is called,
It's not called the butt.
this is the term that my coworker used, which I felt like was a bait and switch when I asked in the meeting about this.
Okay.
And then she answered using this term. I'm like, but what does that mean?
Still the butt.
a noose.
So it's often called a vent,
That's a butthole.
which seems like it's a bait and switch, right?
Yeah.
Smoke and mirrors. Like,
Yeah.
Just
what?
call it a butthole.
Just call it what it is.
Yeah.
But it's not just a butthole. Everything happens there.
It's the butt
So-
factory.
There's reproductive activity.
It's the
that
birth.
happens
It's a
there. So there-
birthing butt.
but there's entry too.
Oh.
But then there's also, you know,
Oh my God!
it-
Really?
yeah,
Wait,
it's
to
one
chicken
thing.
penis? So wait,
Or-
they get impregnated through anal. This is gonna blow
No, it's not.
every.
It's a one thing. It's a one thing. There's only one thing. So
With
we
the
can't.
rooster.
No, that's what I'm saying. So when the rooster, he go in her butthole and get her pregnant? This
But
is gonna
it's
blow
not-
every high schooler's
Chicken
mind.
stock.
We just talked about. No, I did not just talk about this in high school.
It's
I
not
remember-
technically a butt. There's just one hole for everything.
I remember hearing like, oh,
In
but
ingoing and outgoing activities.
anal doesn't count because you can't get pregnant. Wrong.
Count for what?
If you're a chicken.
Count for getting pregnant. That's all it doesn't count for.
Well, it doesn't count as sex. If you're a teen, like consent, like sex before marriage, because you
Well,
can't get pregnant.
I think
That's the thing that the high schoolers say.
but
It's
that's
just
a
fact.
very heteronormative view.
That is true, but
Yeah.
I've heard it, and I've heard it from younger folks while working in a high school. Just saying, it's not. I'm just gonna say anyone who asks me, it's not true, and they'll say why, and I'll say chickens, and that's it.
So it's not
We have
technically a
multiple
butt
holes as humans.
because it's an all-purpose thing.
Sanitary.
So do you want to know what happens?
Kind of not, but I'm here.
So there's this one opening for reproduction and for evacuation of stools and urine. So it's like an everything thing. Everything
Everything.
portal or whatever you want to call it,
We could call it the portal.
opening.
Chicken portal.
However, the hen will push her egg out in such a way that it turns part of like I don't know if it's called flesh or the material. It's called the cloaca. It'll turn inside out so
Interesting.
that
So it
it doesn't
turns-
contaminate the egg. It's like I sort of think about like a train track that switches to another track.
Ooh, yeah. Mhm.
So
That makes
that
sense. Like when you're eating and then you have to switch, there's like a little like,
yes, it's like that.
blockers so that you can not breathe in.
Or when a
choke.
penis can't pee and ejaculate at the same time, like it's like a switch, like
Things are making so much more sense now. I need
Okay,
to take
so
a
here's
way
the-
more anatomy class.
here's the picture. So here's the egg coming down. It's
Chicken
all one
anatomy.
opening.
That's fascinating.
That is
One
Can you
opening.
show that to the screen right now? Because this is
Well,
make
I
it a little
don't-
bigger and show it.
I
Chicken
don't know if they
anatomy.
can see that.
I don't care. I need them to know what we're looking at.
I don't know.
Yeah, you
They
can
can't see that.
Yeah, you can see
If
it.
you did it right for a moment.
To the, yeah,
Yeah, there you
Okay,
go.
there. So in the top picture, the egg's coming down. See, there one opening, aka the vent, and then in the bottom, see how it switches off
Mhm.
the exit of the stool and urine, and then that I guess it's called the cloaca. All that like flesh around the egg actually comes out of the chicken.
Okay. So it does
Chicken butt.
that explains the poop on the egg, but it does keep it more sanitary because it doesn't go through the intestines.
Yes.
Interesting.
Isn't
obviously it
that
comes from a different place.
interesting?
It's basically like they could have had two holes, but they found a more
They fish
and
it.
It's more
evolutionary way.
efficient.
efficient. Now I'm like, why don't I have just one hole?
Well, okay, I'll say this after we stop recording. So that's
Breathe.
all.
Deep breath.
I was about to say something that I realized I would wake up at 2 a.m. and be like, Macy,
Damn
edit
it,
that out.
I hate those. We don't edit our podcasts
Very
98%
often.
98% of the time, unless I get a random 2 a.m. message, panic, and
I'm like,
that one
what?
person.
I've said too much.
It happens. We say things.
It's very occasional. Yeah. I've probably 3 times ever in the last 4 years.
Right.
It's like our 4
I
year
think
anniversary.
we've had one in the year too. Yeah.
It's like, did you know that? 4
I
years.
know. Cheers.
Cheers.
Wait, 4 years?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really?
So
we
if you,
sat right there for our first ones, right across on this other side of the room.
that's true.
Mhm.
Okay, I want to make a new disturbometer, and then we can. I couldn't find it. I looked for it today.
What'd you do with that?
So I blame Stella for everything. It probably wasn't her, but
I
it
was
might
gonna say,
have been.
I highly doubt that.
She gets into stuff now. She's at that age where she's
You
like
haven't had it for a while though.
into the
Like
things.
a long time.
Like she came out of my room the other day, like holding like really expensive jewelry. I'm like, let me just take that from you. So what would you rate Macy's topic? Disturbometer 1 to 10.
Maggots.
Maggots.
I'm gonna go 7.
Really?
I think 6.
Really? I'm
What do you think?
3. I like
Really?
it started with me feeling like it would be a 6 or a 7, like ew, gross. And then it just got like interesting and like helpful and
You
beneficial.
can see the good in them.
I think visually though it can be kind of disturbing.
I'm okay with it now that I know all the good. Like to me, there's more good that they do than bad. Like what bad do they actually do? They help decompose bodies that are dead or dying.
And
they help with
super
medical
protein
processes.
packed.
They're protein packed. You eat them, I guess.
Eat 'em on a
Logically,
stick.
It sounds good, but I have a fear of death, so it makes me think of
Oh
death.
my
It makes
God.
you like existential.
Have you
crisis
watched
a
White
bit.
Noise?
I have.
Recommended?
I loved it.
Okay,
I watched it twice in a row. I loved it so
Oh.
much.
I'll
Yeah.
watch it. Okay.
And plus Adam Driver is just amazing.
What platform?
Netflix.
Is it Netflix?
I just watched Keep Breathing. It's another survival show. A
Mm.
little cheesy, but it's about this girl that gets like stranded out airplane crash
Oh
in the Canadian wilderness.
We've
and
done-
my
has to
God.
survive.
The next season of Yellow Jackets is coming out.
Oh my gosh, we have to do another review.
We have to,
I
yeah.
love that.
Did you
series.
listen to our last? You have to listen to our last one. It was good.
Sarah watched
I
it.
watched the whole
Yeah.
series, but
No.
I'll have to
But
listen
did
to
you
it.
listen to our podcast? That was so good.
I will. I'm
Thank you.
going to. I promise.
Okay, disturbometer for the eggs.
I'm not.
And answering the question,
Yeah,
do eggs come out of a chicken's butt?
I learned so much that's relevant to my daily life now. So I mean, but disturbing, I would say probably a 7, honestly, because of how I didn't know how people. Because I grew up kind of some farm life and I've had chickens before. I never thought like people thought the way they did about brown eggs are healthy.
Isn't
like
that weird?
I just like to me that's disturbing how well marketing can cover and over their trauma, animal abuse.
Yeah, I'll say 7 on the chicken abuse factor, but 3 because now I'm gonna eat eggs with a better conscience that I'm not eating unborn chickens.
It does
that
help me.
bothered me.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Did.
I mean, there's so much misunderstanding out there. I think I thought that too.
I always saw poop on
Mhm.
them and I didn't know the answer to where it came out of. I never assumed because I didn't want to have to assume about that. So I didn't assume, I just knew they had poop on them.
I'm so glad
And that
I'm
they
not the
clean
only
them.
one that didn't know where they come out of.
I wonder what the cleaning process is like in like the big
Factory.
places. Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
Because they are pristine when you get them at the store. And it's when I see farm eggs, it'll be like some hay and shit.
No, there's not. Yeah, there's some dingle doodles.
And you like rinse them, but even then, like there's still maybe some staining. And so like those white eggs, maybe there is bleaching, perhaps.
But the brown eggs are clean too.
Right. So it doesn't mean that they like did that to make it white, because that's silly. Maybe they bleach all of them as a cleaning process. Or not bleach, but maybe something.
I think
Because it's the outside, you don't eat it. They could probably get away with a lot.
I think people akin it to white rice versus brown rice, and brown rice is supposed to be like way healthier.
It's not that way healthier. Like
it takes way longer to cook, and it gives me a little tummy ache if I eat too much. So there's that.
I like
there's cyanide in white rice.
Well, because it's been in a lot of areas where it's been grown, there's been a lot of from if you get it from actually China, I believe is where there's a lot of ground toxins.
I only get my rice from China. It'll make me live longer, maybe.
or
We'll
less.
see.
We'll see. Actually,
We'll see.
I'm
Little doses of poison will make you immune.
We'll see.
she's gonna far surpass me. I have a feeling it's gonna be odd. I don't have lipstick to put on my lips when I die, but just like my dryer's broken. If you could wash and dry my laundry, make sure that's not on the floor. That'd be great.
I'll do my best.
Oh,
If you didn't listen to our last episode, what did you talk about? Oh my God, I can't even remember what I talked about.
yeah.
Sarah, what did we talk about?
I talked about. I know what I. Oh, that's a great way to switch it off of me. I know what I talked about actually.
No, let's say yours first.
Okay. I talked about the Cold War implications and impact from the US government and in general in
Oh yeah.
And how that one dude made a porno.
It was the,
The US government.
Indonesian
No,
massacre.
the Indonesian massacre that was funded as well by the US government. And we made a porno, apparently. The US made a porno. We didn't make a porno. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kikimoro.
Everything's hard the next week.
So the phenomenon in Japan where individuals will pull back from society and never leave their house or work, and the impact of that.
It's a good episode. I enjoyed that episode.
Until next time.
Until next time, live your life big and up.
Have a good
Follow
one.
that.
You go.
Do it. You go.
No,
You both look
I'm the
expectant.
closer.
God.
Oh.
I'll hear the closer.
Oh, I like that.
If you like eggs, don't worry about it. I think life's too short.
Eat the yolk. It's the best part.
All right, ready? I just came up with this. This was not pre-planned.
You usually pre-plan?
No,
We don't pre-plan anything.
Say, but I just thought of a good one.
Okay.
Buy some deeply disturbing merch like this.
Oh my God, Sarah! That looks really good. You know what? I need to get one of those. I don't even have one. That is really cute. Damn, we have
I
some
gave it
cute
to her.
merch. Bye!
Bye.